welcome everybody to our session today, Making the Map Career Direction for Generalists. So, oh, now my mouse. Okay. In 2007, 3 people volunteered to get lost in the world's largest hot desert, the Sahara. It was part of a study to find out what happened when we were wandering, when we were lost, specifically to answer the question, do we walk in circles? So 2 of them were walking in the daylight, they had the sun, they walked, broadly speaking, in a straight line. One of them walked at night and had the moon to guide them. But when the moon was lost behind the clouds, they did start to walk in circles. They did the same study in other environments, and they found that us human beings, when we don't have a clear sense of direction or something to guide us, we walk in circles. And I love this because I think it's the same when we're in the wilderness of our lives and our careers, that we can go in circles in our minds, in our thoughts. We can get stuck going round and round and round. And today, I want to offer an opportunity to think about what could be that sun or that moon for you that helps you to walk, broadly speaking, in a straight line. A little bit about me. I trained as a filmmaker at the Arts University in Bournemouth, and I graduated into a film job. I was a producer's assistant, which meant sending a lot of emails and arranging a lot of meetings. I then became a development executive. I read a feature film every day. I was reading novels, I was reading plays, and it should have been the dream job, but I was just miserable. So I quit, and I had a complete identity crisis. I didn't know who I was if I wasn't a filmmaker, if I wasn't in the creative industries. So I wandered the wilderness of careers for some time, trying lots of different jobs in lots of different industries, until I ended up working in an office. Except the office that I landed in was not like this, but was a little bit more like this. I really, really landed on my feet working for OVO Energy in Bristol. It was a really young, vibrant tech company, energy company at the time. And I entered my corporate era. And I had been led to believe through all the media that I've ever consumed that being in corporate and being in an office meant I was a complete failure. But what I found was corporate was actually really good for me up to a point. But it did teach me loads of skills I didn't have before. I was able to become this more kind of grown and powerful version of myself. But there was still something missing. And I discovered coaching and started to think about what could happen if I experiment with my corporate skills in the creative world. And this thing started to grow. These experiments led to me leaving my corporate job and starting my own business. Fast forward to now, I am a career direction coach, and I help people to understand the shape of their own careers, what would feel better for them, and how to make that happen. So why does it feel so hard to make decisions about our jobs and about our careers? First of all, I just want to acknowledge, like, it does feel hard. It is difficult. And there are 3 key reasons I want to talk about today. The main one being, we just don't get a lot of practice with making decisions about our careers. Decisions that we practice all the time are things like ordering, like placing your order when you go to a coffee shop. We practice that repeatedly. I know for a fact that when I go and I order non-decaf, there will be consequences. I've had the opportunity to practice making that decision, and I now know with certainty what the better decision is for me, which is definitely decaf. But when it comes to our jobs, we don't really get the opportunity to test out making decisions all the time. We're afraid of what other people might think. We're afraid of what happens if we get it wrong, and that we can't change our minds. So the whole decision-making process when it comes to our jobs can feel really difficult and loaded, and we really have a pressure to get things right the first time. There can be no mistakes. Work really matters. We want to get it right because work is important to us. I believe that work is self-expression. It's a way that we can be ourselves in the world. Work also takes up this huge proportion of our lives, right? We will spend 90,000 hours of our lives at work. It's huge. Work, in my opinion, is the opportunity to connect with others, to make an impact, to be creative, to use our strengths. Now, work doesn't and cannot meet all of our needs. We'll actually get into needs a little bit later. But to neglect work and to sideline it as just a means to make money, I don't think anyone in this room is going to be in that group, but I do want to touch on that to look at work as just a means to an end, I think keeps us from being able to make that lasting impact, doing something we're really proud of and really living a very full life. So what do we do then? It's difficult to make career decisions because we don't get a lot of opportunity to practice, but it matters to us, so we want to get it right. So I want to offer up this idea of making the map. I love the imagery of map making, of mapping out ourselves, mapping out where we're going, mapping out where we've been. And I thought today would be a great opportunity to talk you through my own method for creating a clear sense of direction, which is so linked to decision making. So this is my map method. This is what I use with my clients, and we're going to walk through it today. You're going to have opportunities to put into practice some of these techniques as we go. I am going to be done speaking shortly, and you can actually get into it. So the first part of the map method is mining. This is about mining yourself, mining your resources, really digging in and understanding what is going on, gathering information, gathering data about you, data about the world, data about where you've been, your hopes, dreams, like all of that is information that we can excavate so that we can make better choices, so that we can get a clear sense of direction. Thanks, Bailey, for the book recommendation, A Map of Salt and Stars. That sounds absolutely delightful. I will definitely check that out. The next part of the map method is to align. So we've done some digging, we've done that mining. Now we want to get clear on what might be the North Star. And I use that kind of hedging language intentionally. I don't like to put a lot of pressure on having a dream that we're pursuing. I think that can stop us from dreaming at all if we need to get it right and like have the one right dream or the one right passion. What I like to think about instead is wants, desires, wishes, and nudges. Those are the things that we can align with. Oh, too far. Finally, we plan. So thinking about everything we've mined, thinking about those wishes we might want to be heading towards, what is the plan of action? What are we going to do in practice? What are the experiments we're going to take? Okay, let's dive in. The tool we're going to be using, so I have tools, but the tool to execute the tools is free writing. I would love to know in the chat, just give me a yes, an emoji, whatever you want. Let me know if this is something you have experience with. If you are someone who has done free writing in the past, if you journal, thumbs up from Alex. Yes, okay. Lots of people in the room. Oh, we have some morning pages practitioners. Love that. Okay. People are familiar but haven't practiced it much. Fab. So would anyone like to have a go at dropping a definition in the chat of free writing? And in the meantime, I can take a sip of water. Bonita, you're about to become a free writing kind of gal. We're going to get into it. I can't see if anyone's typing. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Shade. Throwing your thoughts on paper without restricting anything, putting on paper whatever's in your head, free form, no thought processing. Yes, all of this, writing everything that's on your mind, capturing the flow. Perfect. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing together today. Ideally with pen and paper. I would love if you give this a go with pen and paper. I appreciate that might not be possible, but that would be perfect if you have the tools. So we are going to be using a timer today on these prompts. We will be doing between 60 and 90 seconds per prompt. So really rapid fire, just like let it all happen. Whatever you think of, your initial response to the prompt is the one. We don't need to be smart or clever. No one's ever going to see these answers. I'm not going to ask you to share them or do anything with them. It's just for you to empty the mind in response to the prompts that I have created for us today. If you find that your thoughts are moving faster than your hand can keep up, that's okay. It's okay if the writing slows you down and makes your thoughts get in line. You might find it's easier to write in bullet points or in lists. You might prefer full sentences. Whatever happens on the page is the right thing to happen. Yeah, no stress. Let's just have a good time. Okay. I love this quote from David Long to kick us off. I think it's really apt. You can't sit around thinking, you have to sit around writing. I couldn't agree more. So we're going to be diving in to our first set of prompts. I'm just grabbing my phone for a timer. We will have for these 60 seconds. So it's going to be really rapid fire. Can I get some thumbs up that we are all ready to begin? Yes. I love the ones that explode. That is so fun. How do you do that? Okay. Your first prompt. What does work mean to you? 60 seconds. What does work mean to you? Okay, just wrapping up that thought on the page. Your next prompt. How does work feel right now? You're welcome to share in the chat, of course, but I don't expect you to share in the chat. Use this time to think privately. So, how does work feel right now? Okay, just wrapping up that thought. The next prompt assumes that you are at a point of making a decision, that you're here today with me because there is a decision that you are thinking of making. Okay, just some context. So, your next prompt, what has brought you to this decision point? 60 seconds. What has brought you to this decision point? Just wrapping up that thought. Okay. Step away from the page for a moment. Let's take a deep breath together. And just notice what you notice about what has come out, what's on the page. We'll continue with some free writing in a moment. So the next thing that I would like for us to mine together, can you repeat the explanation behind the decision point? Yes. So the reason I ask this prompt is often we get to the point where we're trying to make a decision, and it's really useful to think about the steps that have led you there. Like, what is it that means you're at this crossroads? Did something happen specifically? Did something change? Did something shift? Maybe it's something about you that's changed. It's kind of thinking about what's led you to the moment of wanting to make a decision. It's assuming that there is a decision for you to make based on, obviously, the topic of the webinar today. It might not be relevant to everyone, but hopefully that helps. Thanks, Monica. Okay, I'm going to continue on with our journey of mining as we build our maps. I would love to talk to you. We're going to get a little bit theoretical, a little bit in the psychology of it all. I'd love to talk to you about human givens theory. So we understand as humans that we all have a basic set of needs. Human givens theory is based on this idea that we have built-in needs and built-in abilities to meet them. So physical needs, like we need to eat, we need water, we need air, we need sleep. These are obvious because when we don't have those things, it goes south really fast. And if you pushed it to the extreme, obviously, you're in a lot of trouble. Emotional needs are less visible, less clearly articulated, but they matter just as much, if not more, perhaps, for our well-being. So what I'd love to do, also, we're going to come back to all of the free writing things I just asked you to write. We're just going to put them to the side for a moment. What I'd love to do is share with you the 9 human givens, and then we're going to have a think about how those are being met for you in your current day-to-day. Please accept my apologies for this wall of text, but there are limited ways of sharing this information with the design skills that I have. I'm going to read through this slide, and then we're going to get into the exercise. So the 9 needs as per human givens theory. Security. So safe territory and an environment which allows us to develop fully. Attention, giving and receiving it, a form of nutrition. A sense of autonomy and control, having volition to make responsible choices. Emotional intimacy, to know that at least one other person accepts us exactly as we are, warts and all. Feeling part of a wider community. Privacy, the opportunity to reflect and consolidate our experiences. Having a sense of status within our social groupings. Having a sense of competence and achievement. And finally, meaning and purpose, which come from being stretched in what we do and what we think. So this is what I'd like you to do. I would love for you to draw in your notebooks a line. I don't know if it's very visible, but at the top of this slide, there is an orange line. I would love for you to draw 9 lines, 1 to 10. These are going to be scales. So I want 9 lines, 1 at the bottom, 10 at the top. And then for each of the 9 needs, I would love for you to rate out of 10 how well that need is being met for you right now. I'm going to give you a minute to draw those out, to have a look through the slide, have a look at the 9 needs, and have a think for yourself about how well they're being met. In the context of work or overall. Do you know what, Bailey? Totally up to you. Not all of these needs might feel directly related to work. Some are definitely more closely related than others. You know, security, autonomy, community, sense of competence. These are kind of more worky ones. But I think it's nice to have a sense of your overall view as well. So I'm going to leave that up to you. What feels most useful? 1 is low, 10 is high. Correct. Any other questions? Looks like everyone's cracking on. Fab. attention as a form of nutrition. Yeah, you're right to call that out, Sarah. It's kind of jargony, actually. So the idea is, this is why social media thrives, right? We have a need to be noticed as human beings. And that's a give and take, noticing others, being noticed, having attention given to us, giving attention to others. So giving people our time, our focus, and feeling like you're receiving that in return. Does that clarify attention a little bit? Okay, fab. I'm going to take that on though. I'll modify the slide for next time. That's useful feedback. Thank you. I speak to privacy. Yeah. So this is about having the time and space that you need, and this will be different for everyone, how much we need of this. This is about space where we can process the day, process what's going on, collect our thoughts, collect ourselves. This is not about privacy in terms of not sharing. This is more about having a distinct space that is just for us, where we can just be, where we can absorb what's going on, make sense of it, and reflect. I think there was another question. Hopefully, does that clear up the privacy question, Laura and Alice? Okay, fab. And then there was a question about social groupings, status within social groupings, belonging or recognition. So belonging, I would say, is more about feeling part of a wider community, but I think they are linked. I think that's a great question, because when we feel like we have status in a group, it's because we belong to it, we're part of it, we are like actively contributing. So I think it's about both of those things. We belong, and there's recognition about who we are within that space, what we bring that's special, what we bring that matters, the role that we play within that group, and feeling like that's meeting that need that we have to feel that. I feel like I've really rambled there. I don't know if that was a very clear explanation, to Momi. Does that answer your question? Okay, still maybe a little fuzzy. Oh, Laura, that's so interesting. Needing to list personal and work differently because the ratings are so different for both categories for me. What a great noticing. And yeah, I totally invite you to have a go at doing it that way. We've got some time now. If you would like to give that a quick go, I can see some people are giving that a thumbs up. Sense of status within a grouping. Yes, definitely. I think what's important here is to just know that there is a space where this is happening. So it might not be, sorry, more messages coming in, sense of status. Yeah, it will change within group to group. So we want like an overall sense of, in your life, does it feel like that need is met enough? And if it's met enough within one group, maybe that is enough, versus if it's not met at all in any group. It's hard to do because you have lots of different roles and lots of different job roles. Yeah, yes. It might be useful to think about one specific area that feels like it needs focus, where there's more work to be done, maybe, Mira, instead of trying to do across the board if there's lots of different job roles happening. Or yes, like as Nicola has done, more of an average number, an average sense check. I'm going to give us another minute on this before we move on. I'm actually going to do 30 seconds. I've just looked at the time. I'll share the slide. So if you would like to do this more of a deep dive for specific areas that we've not had time for today, you'll be able to do that. You can also ask Google for the list or your LLM of choice. Okay. So I'm going to move us on now. Thank you all for your really insightful questions. It's given me a lot of food for thought about how to position this for next time. So we've just completed some mining, the first part of the map process. We have mined your beliefs about work, how you're feeling right now about work, any decision point triggers that you might be facing, and we've taken stock of our needs through the lens of human givens. The next step is to align. All of these birds, all of these geese, I think they're geese, they are you. They are you and they are me. These birds are your past, present, future. They are the different forms of you. They are in formation. The formation may break, but they're all generally traveling in the same direction, with the goose in the lead that kind of has this instinct of where we're going and is creating that slipstream for the other birds, and they take it in turns. I just love birds in formation. So what I would love for us to think about in this aligning space is that sense of the thread, that sense of the forward motion, the thing that pulls us in one way. We're going to go back to our free writing for the next 2 prompts. I'll be giving you 90 seconds for these because I think they deserve a little bit more attention. Still very short, but a little bit more space. So, thinking about all of your answers to those previous exercises, what do you want instead? I'm going to give you 90 seconds on this prompt. What do you want instead? Yeah, Pamela, I completely trust your instinct on what is most useful. So if it's using a prior state that is more useful, then definitely go for it. If it's using what's happening now and then working on building from that, then I leave the decision to you. I trust your intuition. Okay, just wrapping up that thought. Next, if you had permission, which dream would you pursue? If you had permission, which dream would you pursue? Permission from whomever you need, permission from yourself, from the judge and jury who live in our minds, permission from the world. wherever you might need it. Okay, just wrapping up that thought. So, planning, the final part of the process. So we've had to think about what's going on now. We've had to think about what you might want instead. You couldn't choose one. Without, hopefully there were some options then, maybe if there wasn't one, there might be a collection of things. Interesting. Okay, this is all good, right? This is all good. This is all information. Doesn't matter how vague or how many, these are all threads to be followed. And let's not get too worried about it. That was literally like a 90-second exercise on trying to dig this up. It will take longer to get really super clear, but it's good that you have ideas, that things, or that there are themes, common themes that are digging up, that are coming out. So what we're going to do for this next part when we think about planning is to think about some of the threads, those vague notions or options that might be coming up, and actions that you might be able to take, or experiments that you might want to try. And it might be, if you have more clarity, those are things to help close the gap. It might be, if things are vague or there are lots of options, that the experiments are about exploring them all. We don't have to pick just one thing. I'm actually quite anti, in some ways, just one thing. It can be a trick of the mind to want to only pursue one thing at the expense of everything else. So this is intended to be a playful exercise, 15 things. I absolutely love doing this. I love offering this. It's a nice moment to take off our sensible pants. I feel weird saying that. That means different things in different places. Sensible hats. So what I want you to do is make a list of 15 things, and it absolutely must be, let's take off our pants, literally. Let's be comfortable. We're all friends here. 15 things. It must be 15 at the minimum. You must write 15 ideas of things that you might do, try, experiment with, just give it a go, right? In order to move forwards. And they can be wild. I want to be really clear here. I am not asking you to do these. I am not asking you to commit to any of these. These don't even need to be practical things. They've just got to be ideas of what you might do, things you might try. They can be crazy, they can be tiny, whatever you want. There've just got to be 15 of them. Any questions before I set the timer? Might try for what? So thinking about those answers to your previous questions around, like, what do you want instead, or what might be the dream you want to pursue, thinking about those. Might it include hobbies as well? 100%. I love hobbies. Hobbies are such a huge important part of being fully rounded humans. Definitely include hobbies. So these are 15 things that you can try to close the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. Have fun. Okay, I'm going to set a timer if those are all the questions. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. That might be tough. If you need longer, let me know. Let's go. It's so hard not to create a to-do list. Nadia, this is meant to just be like way more fun than a to-do list, you know? Like a space to write down just anything. But if you have a list of things that you can actually, a to-wish list, yes, that is perfect. It's just space to write down anything you might want to try. Can't go past 6 or 7. So think about what would be just like completely bonkers to help get unstuck. What would be completely improbable. Not things you actually have to do. I'm really mindful of the time, team. I'm going to give us 10 more seconds on this, and then I'm going to move us on. Okay. And now I am going to ask you to commit to one thing. So I would love for you to share in the chat one action that is low stakes, that is from the angle of an experiment or a test, that you are going to commit to. We're going to commit to together, all of us on this call. I will be here as your accountability witness that you have committed to doing this thing. One small, low stakes thing that you are going to commit to doing. Oh my gosh, they're coming in. Love it. Going dancing by myself, posting on Instagram, dancing more. Yes, double dancing. That's so fun. Learning a few poems off by heart. That's gorgeous. Recording a podcast episode. Yes, Jay. Find a political home in my city. Seeing the world. Oh my gosh, coming in quicker than I can see now. Publishing my songs. I love that. I love how creative these are. Enrolling in a new course, taking learning Korean seriously, cooking for the soul. Mastering an unassisted pull-up, same. Take myself on a date. Networking more with careers that might interest me. Selling some ceramics. emceeing events and parties, learning some German. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? I have very bad German. Calling your friend about her PhD and see if it might be for me. I love that action. That's so tangible. Start designing a greeting card. Get enough sleep. Observe phone hours. These are so lush. Thank you, everyone. I feel like they think they've stopped coming in. Find a debating group. Love that. Okay, team. So today we have kind of scratched the surface on direction, on decision making. So I want to offer this up to go deeper if you're curious, if you are wanting to explore this more. I have a free webinar, which is a really good complement to what we've covered today. It goes a bit deeper into some of the topics and offers different tools actionable things that you can try. If you're interested, you can scan the code, drop your email in, it will be delivered to your inbox to watch at your leisure with downloadable summary if you prefer to read rather than watch, and all of those good things. I think this will be sent, the link will be sent around in the follow-up email as well if you don't get the scan right now. I want to leave you on a quote that I love. The QR code doesn't work. Oh my God. Let me put the link in the chat. When we close, I will dig out the QR code. It's working. Oh, it is working. Oh, so many people wanting to come and hang out with me in my webinar. That's so fun. Well, I'm glad that it is working. I'll share the link anyway for those that it hasn't. How confusing. Oh, thank you, Mira. That's so kind. I encourage people to choose one action on the list, find an accountability buddy, and connect to keep each other accountable. Perfect. Okay, so this is the quote I would love to leave you on. Every life is an unprecedented experiment. This life is mine alone. So I've stopped asking people for directions to places they've never been. There is no map. We are all pioneers. From Glennon Doyle. So lovely. Thank you all so much. Thank you for being such willing participants, so game, for sharing, for all your questions. I've super enjoyed this. And now we have 10-minute Q&A time. I can probably turn off the slides now and then I can see everyone properly again.
Also, I will send tomorrow the link and all the other resources with the recording of the event. So if anyone missed the QR code or anything, don't worry.
Amazing. How would we like to do Q&A, Ajay?
Well, if anyone wants to come off mute, you can use the raise hand function, or you can put your question on the chat and we'll read it out loud and answer it.
Such lovely feedback in the chat. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. Oh, I'm so glad, Bailey. Thank you. I think Demetra has put their hand up.
Wait, sorry.
Over to the techness of it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Camera is off because problems, but that doesn't matter. Thank you so much, Kate, for this wonderful workshop. It was really nice. I want to ask, we focus it more on work, but I guess it can be, how would you combine it for someone like me that doesn't have a work at the moment, but still looking to specify themselves, because the feedback that we always get as generalists is like, oh, you're doing too much.
So the question is about, can you say that again? So is the question about how to get clear on your specificities as a generalist when you're out of work, if I've understood correctly?
No, again, I don't know if it was the thing before. Yes. I'm just wondering that this is to help you find, this workshop was to help you find the map in the work aspect and everything, and it was wonderful. And I keep having the image of the desert that you used in the beginning, that, and I'm thinking for someone like myself that do not have a job at the moment, how it can be applied, because I don't want to, like, now, for example, the security and everything is on really lows on the numbers that we went before. But other things are still okay. How I can use it, I can use this free writing workshop as to know where to go next instead of having the security of a work and finding another one.
Okay, so I would recommend thinking about what has worked well before. So times when you felt energized in the past, when you felt like your needs were being met, what was going on, and using your history to dig up some elements to help you make those decisions about where you're going next. And that could be around, your strengths, things that you've been really known for, maybe that you're known for now, and using those to like pull together all those good things and turning that into the map that kind of can help pull you forwards. So rather than focusing on, I guess, the here and now and what's not being met, using the things from the past of times that it has worked, that you have felt like things were going your way, and digging into what was going on there and using that to draw you forwards. If you do go on the webinar, there are some different exercises in there that you might find helpful. And DM me on LinkedIn if you have any questions about those as well. I'll be happy to help.
Thank you so much. That is wonderful. And I will go through the webinar.
You're welcome. Good luck. Kiriti?
Hi, Kate. That was an excellent workshop, especially the exercises. They really help you like streamline the thought processes. Usually, as generalists, we end up having a lot of them competing. So that's what I wanted to ask. So when we are doing the exercise, right, while we were focusing on career, there were a lot of ideas that were related to probably not necessarily work, but just our hobbies or things that are coming into picture. Would you recommend like just go ahead and write all of that and separate it out and bucket it to like what you want to do with your career towards the end of the exercise, like a plan for the career, plan for your personal, or would you recommend that we look at it like at a holistic plan? What would your recommendation be?
Great question. Great question. So with this session and with these types of sessions, I like to focus on career because it feels like a more sort of tangible thing, and it gives us a bit more of a sort of smaller scope to work with when we've got a short period of time. But really, in an ideal world, we look at ourselves and our lives holistically, as you say, because it's all our life, right? Work is one part of what makes our lives rich. And it will, like we said, it might meet some needs, not all of them. So really, we need to look at everything together to get a sense of balance as well. I often work with people on getting balance, and what that means to you, to me, to other people on this call will be different and personal. So thinking about what that would mean for you to get a blend of things that works well, and making a plan that can help you to achieve that will be personal to you, but will be better supported by having that holistic view. Yes.
Just one follow-up question. So I was the one who mentioned that, like, when you asked the last question, which one of these dreams would you like to pursue if you had permission? I really had blank. I honestly didn't know which one to do because I had written like several things on what do you want instead, and they all seemed like different from each other, like very drastically. But I couldn't land. It felt like I didn't have enough information to say, okay, this is what I want to pursue. So in a scenario like this, what would you recommend doing? Like, would you recommend going back to the exercise again and redoing it with a longer time period, or is there something else you would recommend doing?
I think the answer was in your question. You said, I don't have enough information. So I'd be really curious about what information, this is a question for you to take away. What information would you need and how might you get it?
Thank you.
Thank you. I can see you've got a hand up with Madhu.
Yeah, hi, Kate.
Hi.
Thank you so much for the excellent session.
You're so welcome.
Really broadened my thinking. I've actually posted this question to another person earlier in the day, so I'm just going to read out that question to you. In industry hiring, that is in corporate hiring, I'm finding that people like me with diverse cross-domain backgrounds often get filtered out because they don't match a clean role archetype, even when their past work involved making AI systems usable. I mean, the context here is I'm trying to move from non-tech to a AI role. So the question is this. So where do people like this, I mean, people like us, where can we create the most leverage? And what are those non-obvious roles or entry points that we should be targeting? I mean, these are my questions. What I've already tried is like, speaking, I mean, directly to hiring managers on LinkedIn, applying on job boards, customizing my resume to the role requirements. But I can't hide that I have, mixed experience of marketing, product, L&D, digital transformation, and all that. In a variety of industries. So after almost a year of overwhelming confusion and all that in trying to position my this thing, only now I realize that I'm not speaking in the language that my recruiters understand, my interviewers understand. So do you have any suggestions on this? I mean, feel free to be candid. Yeah.
I don't think I'm
Thank
the
you.
right person to answer your question, is what I'll say, honestly. The work that I do is on the other side of the scale, I guess, from the recruitment end. I'm really interested in the identities that we hold around work, the beliefs we hold around work, how that can help us to make plans and then move forwards. Sounds like what you're thinking about is much more on the what I think of as like the sharp edge, I suppose, where it's really in the detail of the application process and the recruitment process. But I'll tell you what, if you add me on LinkedIn, I'll have a think about who's in my network who is in that space, and I can see if I can make some connections for you to ask someone that might be able to answer with more clarity.
Oh, sure. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I'll do that.
Cool.
Adding on to that, I know there would be loads of generalists in the audience having very similar problems. I see that people are mentioning in the chat as well. We have a couple of recordings from last year about interview processes and like application processes on our YouTube channel. But also we can bring back more of those kind of topics. So feel free to send me an email about like, I would like to see this, or I have questions around that, so that I can find an expert around that and we can have other workshops going on. Just to flag one question in the chat for you.
Yes, I was literally just realized the chat's been going and going.
There was a question from Ken. Let me just copy paste here on the chat, and then after this, I guess we can wrap up.
Sounds good. Okay. So we jumped from assigning scores to the human gamers to choosing one direction dream. Yeah, what strategies of choosing one seems to work for your past audience? Such a good question. Thank you. So my intention is limitations can give us the impetus to have quick decision times and like gut reactions. So I was curious to play with that. What could happen? But what I'm noticing is that decision might have been more of a blocker than an empowerer, and creating more friction with like, I don't have just one thing. So I definitely think I'm going to modify that question. that was my intention behind it. I've lost the question now in the chat. I don't know if I've answered it fully. Here it is. Yeah, and the other reason I like to think about ones is because often then people say, well, I don't just have one, I have three, I have six, I have all of these different things. And it kind of highlights all the different options to choose from, and the fact that there are options, which is in itself kind of a powerful and empowering thing, because then we can go out and start investigating. So that's some of the thinking around the one, choosing one direction. Does that answer your question? Thanks, Ken.
I've just posted Kate's website on the chat again, so that if you have any follow-up questions, you can reach out to her. I'm also on LinkedIn, as you mentioned. But thanks everyone for participating, being so like open and engaging. I love it when, and also on the chat as well, I see that people are supporting each other, helping each other out with like recommendations of books, or like Never Search Alone is like amazing research, by the way, amazing framework and amazing community. And we do have a version of it in the community as well. Job search councils, definitely recommend if people are looking for jobs, check out Never Search Alone as well. So, well, thanks everyone. I'm just going to say that we'll have more of these events. Obviously, you'll be seeing them on the open events calendar, and tomorrow you're going to receiving the recording of the session and with follow-up resources as well, and hope to see you all again. And thank you, Kate. That was really good.
Thank you for having me. Thank you all for coming, and thanks for getting involved. I'm on LinkedIn. Come and hang out there with me. I would love to see you.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Cheers, team.